Hi there, and thanks for joining me for this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. This week, I wanted to explore one of the missions of Wheel and Anchor, which is about being well connected. If you've attended one of our webinars before, you'll know that in the introduction part, I talk about the vision and the philosophy behind Wheel and Anchor, which is about bringing travelers together to be well-traveled and well-connected. And what does that exactly mean? Well, I think it's really important that we stay connected in life. And as we get into the later stages of life, as we leave our careers and professions behind us, often we find ourselves retreating into the familiar circles of family and friends. And this not only applies to solo people who don't currently have a partner, but even to couples as well. And so there are a lot of benefits to not only keeping but expanding your social connections. And this is from avoiding that sense of isolation that tends to set in for people as they enter later years, and also maintaining and improving your cognitive abilities by engaging in discussion and discovery and learning. Also, it gives you a sense of purpose when you stay connected to other people. You've got somebody to sort of care about, look after, to plan things together. And of course, what better way to stay connected and to grow your connections than through travel? And of course, our idea and our philosophy is that when you bring like-minded people together, invariably friendships form, connections develop, and life just has a lot more meaning to it. And when I say travel, I don't mean just any kind of travel, but the kind of travel that allows you to make connections in more of an intimate environment. And frankly, that's part of the reason why we don't offer big ship cruising. It's not to say that you can't meet people in that kind of environment, but it's a little bit more of a lottery, I suspect. And so the kind of trips that we facilitate here at Wheel and Anchor, whether it's our live-aways, where you spend a longer period of time in destination and as a result get a chance to hang out, have coffee, have a glass of wine with other members and get to know people, or our specially chartered boat programs in particular, because let's face it, when you're on a boat for a week, you get to know the people that you're traveling with, and it's often those kind of experiences where our members report having created some long-lasting connections and friendships with other people they've traveled with. And if you look, for example, at our program on the Mekong River this coming November, far more than half of the participants on the trip are solo travelers. And I think that's exciting because I can already anticipate the fun that's going to be had and the connections that are going to be made by participating in that trip. And that applies to other kinds of trips like the Canal du Midi, which we just released this weekend, which is a more active, involved kind of a trip because everybody's participating in steering the boat as we go up the canal and going through the locks. And so a lot of fun is had. And again, that is something that fosters connections more so than some of the more conventional types of travel. So that's a little bit about my thoughts on the idea of connection and why it's so important to us as a community, because it really does yield a lot of benefits. And of course, I'm delighted always to get your feedback on the subject. Your thoughts mean a lot to us because, we care about what you think and whether you like or maybe not so much like some of the philosophies that we have here at Wheel and Anchor. Just as a last point of note, talking about small ships, we actually have our webinar of the week. This coming week is about our Yachting the Turkish Mediterranean program. Our trip this year, of course, is sold out, but for next year, we're already introducing the program on a magnificent luxury goulette through along the coast of the Mediterranean in Turkey. So if you're interested in that, please join us for the webinar this week. You'll find the details below. I look forward to catching up with you again next week and trust that you're having a great summer here in Canada.